So what up, 2K fans? You know who it is. It's your boy Shake, and it's time for me to kick some of those actual factuals to you about my Rough Riders tryouts. And I've been a Rough Rider now for longer than I've been a Flyer when I first bought the game. And I'm ready to do a Rough Riders tryouts mainly for defense. This is, it really should just be called a defensive tryouts, because that's what I'm really interested in. I have a lot of good guys that I game with on a regular basis, but now I want to try to pick up some guys that, you know, I can find that are really good at playing D. And it's funny because usually I'll run a tryouts like this, like I did for my big man tryouts, and you'll end up with I'll end up playing with somewhere around 10 or 15 people, maybe even more. Sometimes I'll play like 20 or 30 people. And I end up only keeping maybe one or two guys that I can count on, that I can run with on a regular basis. And so that's what I'm looking for. You guys already know I have a crew that I typically run with, but in order for me to get a chance to run with some of my subscribers, I gotta host these kinds of tryouts. And what do I mean by defense? What am I looking for on defense? I'm looking for guys that understand the concept of defense winning championships, or you know, if you understand the concept that good defense frustrates bad offense. And what do I mean by that? If you play good D, a lot of times your opponents, they get frustrated. You know, you're blocking their shots, you're stealing the ball, you always have a hand in their face. They tend to take bad shots. They tend to panic past the ball, and that causes a lot of turnovers and things like that. So again, good defense will frustrate bad offense all the time. And I think that that's a huge key to winning a lot in NBA 2K as well, you know, as much as it is in real life. And so what am I really looking for when I'm talking about defense? I'm talking about guys that know how to stay with their man. A lot of times you run with guys that don't know how to play basketball very well. They play video games really well, but they don't know how to play basketball really well. And so whoever has the ball, they run over to him and they're trying to D him up. And then you see a bunch of doubles and triple teams, like unnecessary double and triple teams. And there's always somebody wide open knocking down big threes. And we can't have that, especially on the JRC right now. The JRC is lights out for almost any jumper. So, you know, you got to have people that stay with their man. And that's what I'm looking for. I don't like to see that. You know, there's a lot of those moments where there's too much helping out just because a guy gets crossed up. But we know if we have solid bigs and solid good defenders, they can always help out under the rim where they're supposed to. You know, if you get crossed up and your man leaves you and another guy sags off his guys, people are good now, man. They kick out to that open shooter. I'm looking for guys that know how to play a zone, that understand zones, and also know how to call the zone. You know, playing a 2-3 is not easy if you don't understand the concept. You know, playing a 3-2 is even worse if you don't understand the concept. And if you don't know how to play your position, you're going to leave open a lot of jump shooters, and you're going to let a lot of guys get to the basket. And so I want to find guys that know how to play a zone. If we say, hey, we're going to switch to a zone defense, 3-2, and we call the zone, yes, I want people that understand the zone and know where to go, but you know, if you don't understand the concept and how to play your perimeter, your area, you're going to cause a lot of problems for the team. And that's all it takes. It only takes one guy to mess up in his zone for the entire game for another team to exploit it and beat you. So, you know, I need guys that know how to play a zone. You know, I'm always looking for guys that know how to keep their hands up. Always keeping a hand up on the person that they're guarding. There's a lot of guys that play off. They tend to just let people shoot. I want guys that keep a hand up. You know, get your hand up in his face. You know, I understand that defense is way harder to play than offense this year. It's kind of the running theme for NBA 2K. The defense is very difficult. But there's some people out there that don't feel that way. You know, and the better I get on defense, the more secure I feel, the more confident I feel about my defense. And, you know, I want guys that feel confident, at least have the confidence. So they're not thinking, you know, defense sucks this year. I want guys that feel at least confident that they can play solid D and keep a man in front of them. I'm looking for guys that know how to play the passing lanes. You know, that is huge. When I play with my buddy Styles and my buddy King Dooms, you know, a lot of these guys, D-Man, we play the passing lanes. I get a lot of steals off of just playing the passing lane. You know, a lot of guys, they panic pass. When you play really good defense on someone, you'll see guys, they panic pass. What I mean by panic passing is they just hold the left stick in any direction and hit X and hope to get rid of the ball, because 2K has it written into the engine to where when you hit the X button in the direction of the guy that's going to receive it, he's going to automatically get it. You know what I mean? So somebody's going to get the ball. And when you make people panic pass, you can cause a lot of turnovers. And if you play the passing lanes really well, you can definitely get a lot of steals. And I think that kind of thing frustrates, you know, an offense, especially a bad offense. And you know, I've gotten frustrated myself when I try to make a pass and it gets deflected and then it gets stolen. It gives me a big turnover. You know, it's bad on your confidence. You know, so I want people that know how to play the passing lanes. That's probably the most important, because people panic pass more than they do anything else. And there's a lot of guys that over dribble, but you can't really steal the ball from a flyer. You know, you can't really steal the ball on a regular basis. Pickpocketing and those kind of things aren't as successful as, you know, getting steals from people that are panic passing. You know, my buddy King Dooms calls them predictable. They're so predictable, you know. And so, you know, I want guys that know how to predict bad passes and get in the passing lanes and can steal the ball. I'm not necessarily, you know, looking for guys that are legit shot blockers. You know, if you're a shot blocker and you know you're good at blocking shots, that's great too. You know, that's kind of an added bonus. I think I'm more or less looking for guys that can keep their hand up and make sure that the guy that's shooting the ball, especially if he's under the rim, you know, makes it. Usually the game has it written in where the guy will miss the layup. It doesn't happen as much as I'd like it to happen, because we've seen a lot of bad offense get rewarded in NBA 2K15. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're a legit shot blocker, that's one thing. What I'm really looking for in terms of shot blocking are guys that are not afraid of getting dunked on. You know, you're gonna get dunked on. It's a video game, you know. And you know, I'm a little guy, so I don't see myself in the lane a whole lot or too often. But considering the fact that, you know, I'm used to blocking shots every year in 2K, I make a character that can block shots. This year I have a point guard, but I may real soon. I might create another player, you know, a bigger sized player, and I might use him to block shots. But regardless, you know, I've never really been afraid of getting dunked on. I've always tried to block the shot if I can. If I'm in the general area, I try to hit triangle and try to block shots. So not necessarily looking for shot blockers, but I'm really looking for guys that are not afraid of getting dunked on. The guys that will put their hand up and try to block it at least, you know. Pickpocketers, you know, in 2K14, it was very easy to pick someone's pockets, especially after a rebound. And I've been saying this, but 2K, they need to add in a clear out button. If you get a rebound, what button do you push to clear people out? You know, in old basketball games, you used to have a button where you could, you know, as a forward or as a center, you could grab a board and, you know, lift your elbows up a little bit or protect the ball really well. There's no protect the ball button. And they need that in 2K. You need to be able to feel safe, because usually when bigs get rebounds, they're at the mercy of the swarm, and they literally have to pass out of that swarm immediately, or they'll get blocked or they'll get ripped. But in 2K15, they kind of toned it down a little bit. The stealing is not as easy, so pickpocketing is not as successful. But guys that know how to pickpocket, hey man, I'm all for it. You know, I loved being a flyer, because as an Old Town Flyer, you get that boost on defense. And I'm always a defensive player. I like to be a defensive player, on, you know, good defensive player, and a playmaker on offense. And that's what I liked about Old Town. And since I'm now a Rivet City Rough Rider, and I have a boost to athlete and rebounding, you know, my guy's always going to be athletic, and I can't rebound as a point guard anyway. So what's the point? But the great advantage of being a Rivet City Rough Rider is that I can go play at the park that I love to play at, which is the Old Town Flyers Park, and I get more boost. You don't get much boost for playing your same affiliation, you know, so I really do love going out there to play. But the point that I'm making is that now that I'm a Rough Rider, I need some guys. I want to find some more people that's out there that's cool, that I can run with, that don't have a bedtime, that don't get on punishment, things like that I can consistently run with. And, you know, guys that play really good defense. So, as always, like the video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And until next time, I'll have some more Rise to Legend gameplay for you guys later.
What's up, Jake? Big fan of your videos. If you're ever trying to play 2K or Destiny, I'm gonna be here. Can you hit me up whenever you're trying to play those? Thanks, man. And keep it up with those videos. They're great, man.